Welcome to a video in which I'm going to ask my dad questions about himself because that's interesting for us to learn. This video I'm asking you about all the cars you've ever owned, starting with the very first car you owned. How old were you, like 15?
Yeah, 15. The very first car was a 1962 Chevy 2, which I traded a Honda 50 motorcycle for it. So, of course, it was really a piece of junk. The engine was bad, transmission was bad, but you know, I could drive it, so it was fun at the time. Then I got a 63 Ford Galaxy, and then I got a 63 Ford Falcon, like the way I can't see it covered, but like this one.
If you want to see it on the other videos, just type in Ford Falcon. We've made several videos on it. You can see it in action. You can see us go around it. So if you want to check that out, we've got those available on this channel.
But it was actually what they call a gasser. It had the straight axle on the front and a V8, you know, hopped up engine and all that. And ended up, you know, it was using it for a street car, which wasn't a good idea because it set up so high, I ended up flipping it. And it rolled over like 3 times.
You flipped it?
Yeah.
And you were okay?
Yeah.
And were you wearing your seatbelt? Those are the days before.
Yeah, before seat. It didn't have seatbelts, but
it just didn't have them, and you were okay flipping it.
Well, it rolled like 3 times, and then the third time it landed on the wheels, and the door came open, and I fell out. So
and you weren't hurt.
Luckily, it didn't roll again. I just kind of, you know, bruised up a little bit, but not hurt.
It's so weird, just because I can't comprehend a time when. Like in Tennessee now, it's illegal if you don't have your seatbelt on. It's illegal to have a phone in your hand. But like, well, were you in Tennessee at the time? Or were you in Georgia?
We had just moved from Tennessee to Alabama at that time.
But it's just so foreign of a concept because like, that you can't do that anymore. Like, and you like, but they didn't even have seatbelts.
Yeah.
And then you roll it over and you're okay.
Yeah. So I took the engine out of that, then I put in a 64 Mercury Comet, which I ended up flipping it over too.
No seatbelts in it?
No seatbelts.
And you're okay after you flipped it?
Yeah, it actually rode off the side of the mountain. It rode about 1.5 turns, and then it hit a tree, came into the tree.
Like, this should be a series on you shouldn't be alive right now. Like, that's what this should be. Like, yeah. How did you survive? And you're talking about it casually.
Yeah.
Like, this was a video about cars you've owned, and instead it's like things you survived, and a normal human shouldn't have been able to.
Yeah, survived. When the car came to rest, it was on its side, and I was standing up in the back seat on the windshield, on the window on the bottom. So I got to get the door open, climbed out the top.
Man, how old were you about that time?
I was 16. Yeah, 16 at that time.
And you had to keep getting money for new cars because you kept wrecking them.
Yeah, well, I took that engine out. I just kept passing the engine.
It's like a cursed engine, like the movie Carrie, like the car. Yeah. You're taking the engine from it and just put it into a new car that you can roll over. So did you roll over the next one?
It came from the 63 Galaxy to the 63 Falcon to the 64 Mercury, and then it went to a 65 Mercury Comet. And then from there, that car, I took it out. I was going to put it in I bought a Mustang, a 68 Mustang GT. It was a big block 390 car. But the engine was bad, so I was going to put that motor in the Mustang. But I ended up trading the Mustang, which is one of those cars you always wish you would have had. Been a very high dollar car now. I traded that car for a 56 Ford convertible, which is another car, which I would still have. Drove that car for several years, and then I bought a 1970 Mustang Mach 1, which had the 351 Cleveland 4-speed. Another car I wish I still had. From that car, it kind of went downhill from there.
Well, because what year are we talking at this point, though?
That would have been about 76.
Oh, I thought it was going to start going downhill about the time I was born. 81. I mean, that was you got the Ford Thunderbird in 79.
Yeah.
Which is just a huge, I mean, that thing was so ridiculously long for no reason.
Yeah, just a big old car. It was, Yeah, they got good gas mileage for such a huge car, though.
So what was before the Thunderbird though?
I'm trying to think. We had another car we still had was a '67 Ford Ranchero, which was also a big block car, factory bucket seats and console. Really nice car. I restored it at that time.
The blue one.
Yeah, the blue one.
Yeah, because that's the one you had. That was your vehicle when I was born and grew up.
Yeah, that's right. My daily driver at that time. Then, actually, I had a '76 Cobra, Ford Cobra. You know, the little Mustang 2 Cobras.
That one was like a convertible or something, or T-tops or something, right?
Yeah. No, it was just a.
Oh.
It was just a
I
little.
feel like I remember that one in my lifetime around kindergarten. You didn't have it long though.
No, I didn't have that one long. I traded it for. I sold it. I just sold it. Ended up selling the Ranchero, and then I bought a 1988 Ford Ranger, and that was my vehicle that I drove all through. You guys
up until
growing
5
up-
years ago.
5 years
So
ago.
you bought it in 1990,
90, yeah.
and then 5 years ago, so 2014. So from 1990 to 2014, you had the Ranger.
Yes,
That was it.
that was all.
Of course.
Of course, the Falcon, but it was not.
Yeah, secondary vehicle. And then, of course, the family vehicle was the Bronco 2, the 1985 Bronco 2,
Yeah.
which ultimately, I'm sure subconsciously, was the reason I ended up getting that as one of my first cars. I got a different one, and then ultimately the Jeep. Like, I'm sure it has to do with that being the vehicle I was exposed to, when I was young. I'm sure that rewrote my coding or designed that for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then you had that Ranger up until 5 years ago, because I remember you got it right before my 15th high school class reunion, and now I've just had my 20th, and you still have that.
And by the way, we kept the Bronco too after you got your new car.
Oh, right.
I restored it,
Yeah.
lowered it,
Yeah.
painted it, put the wheels on it and all, and I ended up selling it.
But then now that I've got the Jeep, you bought my Element.
Element.
So it's like there's this definite pattern here.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but it's funny because like the first many cars you own is like, okay, I had this for a year or two, and then bam, like from 90 to 2014, just
The Ranger.
the Ranger. And it's funny because they just brought it back, I guess. I saw one on the road. I didn't think it was out yet, but I saw one last week on the
Yeah,
road.
the Rangers are back. Yep. The Bronco 2s are back, or they're Broncos.
The
not
Broncos,
Broncos.
because I was watching a movie with The Rock in it, Rampage, and that's what he drives in it, and it looked really cool. I was like, "What in the world is that?" Is it a Ford Bronco? So,
And you can't forget the minivan.
oh,
19. What was it?
is it 93 or 94?
93.
But it was funny
Around
because
time.
they don't make like it's funny because you can think back to the 70s when they made certain colors for cars that you'd only see like that puke green. But in 93, 94, the hot color was hunter green.
Yeah.
Like the color of a pine tree. And that's what color that one was.
Yeah, it's coming out with the metallic colors. It was a high metallic.
But green,
Emerald green.
dark
is what it was.
green. Yeah, yeah. So I liked the van though, because I even drove that some in high school myself. Yeah. So okay, well, that was a lot of cars, but I think the takeaway, and that's just, I wrote down certain things I wanted to ask you about, just because I knew that there would be some kind of revelation, some kind of surprise in going through this. But we have to end this video just by acknowledging, like, you shouldn't be alive based on those accidents that you had when there weren't even seatbelts in the car. And like, I guess they happened because you were going too fast. I mean, that's what kind of cars those were.
At that period, the style was they would be jacked up in the rear end. They had a thing they called hijacker shocks, which was an air shock. You put it on the back and it would just raise the back up. And you usually did that because your tires were so big that they would rub the fenders and you wanted to get it to clear the tires. Which made them very unstable to drive,
But especially off the side of a mountain. That was like Lookout Mountain.
Yeah.
So yesterday my wife and I drove from my parents' house in Alabama. It's just about an hour or so drive, but we drove along Lookout Mountain, which you know, it's a place, one of the top places to go hang gliding off of. Like, that's how high up this place is. So, like, I'm sure you didn't roll off that part, but still,
No,
it's still the same mountain, though.
it's still the same mountain, but like I said, it hit a tree or what stopped it from rolling.
Like, so did you think, though, after, like, I shouldn't be alive 1, I shouldn't be alive 2? Like, did that?
Yeah, especially the first one, because if, like, I fell out, if the car would have rolled one more time, it would have crushed me. But it stopped, so.
And I wouldn't be here, and you wouldn't be watching this video.
No.
So that's a miraculous situation times 2. All right, well, good video. Thanks for watching it. There will be more. If you have any comments, they belong right here.